I think we may be live. Aha! I think we're live. Hello everybody. Oh, okay, we are live. Okay, I've never done this before. This is very exciting. There's already quite a few of you here. How are you all doing? This is fantastic. And to whoever that was that just said it's illegal for me to be drinking, the drinking age in the UK is 18, I'll have you know. This is some fine whiskey bought for me by Brother Dear on my birthday. Wow, hello, hello everybody. How are we doing? It's fantastic. Hello from Poland. Hello, Just Kate. How are you doing? This is fantastic. Okay, we're already up to 410 people in under a minute. This is great. 74 likes. It's going great. So, whether you're watching this live, whether you're watching this after the fact, this is my celebration of 100,000 subscribers, which is ridiculous. Just hit it today. It's crazy. I was saying on my social media earlier that it was only exactly 1 year ago today that I had 100 subscribers. Exactly a year ago, and now we're on 100,000. So we've times the subscriber rate by 1,000 in 365 days. Oh wow, someone just gave £2. I didn't even know you could do that. This is great. Okay, so basically, the reason I'm doing this is because I needed to do some kind of special 100k video or something or other. Unfortunately, I'm currently in the middle of exam season, which is kind of killing me right now and giving me no time. So I thought that I'd do a live stream, which means I don't have to do any editing, nothing of that kind of messing about. Kind of like a Q&A type thing, so if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the live chat, which is going crazy right now, so I might not be able to see them all, but that's the plan. So I thought I'd just briefly mention that as far as that goes in terms of exams, with the video quantity, I have no idea how the quantity of videos is going to be affected by exams, because I haven't really started them yet fully. You might not even notice a difference, but if the videos do sort of go down in quantity for the next sort of month or two, that will be why. But I'll try and keep things up as much as I can. Certainly on like social media, blog posts, things like that. But videos themselves, they might go down. I'm really not too sure. Apparently some of you other people are having exams too, so good luck to everyone else who's doing exams. Somebody asked if I'm going to university. Well, that depends on if I get the grades, I suppose. I have no idea. I haven't really thought that far ahead yet. I'm currently retaking my AS levels because I was taking the wrong subjects. This is something I'd never told you guys about, actually. I took the wrong subjects, so I needed to restart the year and do different subjects. So now I'm doing humanities like philosophy, which is going really well, but it means I'm a year behind and I don't need to really think about university yet. I don't know what the plan is for that. This is absolutely incredible. I've never done this before. I've never done anything live. Do you think there's justification for war or foreign intervention in other countries or affairs? That comes from, I can't pronounce that, but someone's asked me about war. What I'm going to say on that, actually, this is a very good question, because I recently attended a talk by a guy called A.C. Grayling, who I'm sure most of you already heard of. This is the book that he was talking about. It's called War, and it was a really captivating talk, I have to say, one of the best I've ever been to. So this is my signed copy by A.C. Grayling, who, by the way, is a really, really nice guy. Like, having met him in person, he's not your sort of intellectual snob. He's a really, really cool guy. But his opinions on war, from what I've heard at least, I haven't read the book yet, but the talk that he did was fantastic. So I'm pretty sure that my opinions align with that. So if you want to know my opinions on that, look at this. He basically, I think what it boils down to for him is that there are two justifications for war, one of which being if self-defense, one of them being self-defense. If you're attacked, you should be able to attack back. But also if there's somebody else being, basically, you know, somebody bullying the small guy, we should be able to protect them. Somebody asked me about GCSE results. I'm really sorry, I can't see these all. So maybe you need to ask again if you want me to see your question. I've never done this before. GCSE results. Oh, well, for the majority of my secondary school education, I did absolutely terribly. I was really bad in school. But then about a few weeks before I started my GCSE exams, I decided to just knuckle down and try and study, and I just fluked really good grades. So in the important ones, maths, English, and science, I got like A's and A stars. Funnily enough, I actually got, I think I got did I get a D or something? D or C in religious studies, weirdly, because back then I wasn't doing that kind of thing. Do you drink? Yes, I do. Will religion go extinct? I don't know. Well, it will go extinct eventually because, of course, in a few billion years' time, the sun's going to expand into a red giant and consume the Earth and destroy everything that we've ever known or loved, which is fun. And by that point, yes, religion will have gone extinct. But I'm not sure about whilst humans are still inhabiting the planet. I can see it decreasing. It is decreasing, but I can't see it ever really going away. Could you do a video on quantum physics? Perhaps I could. I'm not exactly a physicist myself. I'm thinking some points in the future I may try and get some people who know what they're talking about on the channel. So interviews with physicists or chemists or scientists, philosophers. I could perhaps reach out for them. If that's something you guys want to see, do let me know. Do you like history? I love history. It's one of the gaps in my knowledge. I've been trying to read up on a lot of history because it's one thing I've never really done very well. Got a bit of a cold at the moment, by the way, which is why I'm coughing. But yeah, history. I need to study hard with history recreationally. I never did it at school, but I'd love to do it more. What do we got here? Wow, this is going quickly. Have you finished A Universe from Nothing? Yes, I have. I finished that a little while ago. Lawrence Krauss's book, if anyone doesn't know. This book is a great book. Kind of like a concise history of cosmology and how we discovered what we know about the universe and its origins. Fantastic read. Near the end, it does get a bit sciencey, a bit technical, so you might not be able to follow along. It was a bit much for me, but certainly the first half. And if you can just sort of go with the second half, it's a fantastic read. I'd recommend it to anybody. Great book. I haven't yet read his new book, actually. I've got a copy here. Funnily enough, a little while ago, a guy called Rudy, who, if you're watching, Rudy, this is one of the coolest things anyone's ever done, he messaged me and said, well, hey, Lawrence Krauss is coming to my town. Do you want me to get you a signed book? And aha! Back. Are we? Okay, right. With any luck, we are back. I think we're back. I think we're back. Fantastic. Okay. Now, my home internet connection is very, very bad, so I apologise if that happens again. It's very possible. I can't actually remember what I was talking about a second ago. I'm pretty sure I was talking about Lawrence Krauss's new book, which I haven't read yet. That's where I got to. But questions are still coming in like crazy. Will you focus on music in the future? Well, okay, interesting question. For those of you who don't know, I play music. I'm a musician. Used to be like my main thing, my main hobby. And I wanted to pursue it as a career. But then I sort of discovered this and doing YouTube, and it sort of took over. And at the moment, like I mentioned earlier, I hardly have any time. And so it's been very difficult to do music. But perhaps when I've got a bit more time, I'll do it a bit more, but I don't think it will become my main thing like it used to be. Now, oh wow, okay, I've just gone on my super chat thing. I don't actually know what this is, but it seems to be where people are paying money to comment so that I can see the comments. My goodness, there's no need for that, but thank you all very, very much. This is ridiculous. Okay, so I'll use my laptop instead. That might be easier. I really want to say thanks. Could you answer all your Snapchats? Okay, I try to answer as many Snapchats as I can. Unfortunately, it's quite difficult. If you send me Snapchats, I'm more likely to open them if they're images or videos than if they're just text. But I try to get around to as many as I can, but unfortunately, it's quite difficult. Although if you keep spamming my Snapchat inbox, then might get to it. Okay, what else we got here? Oh, someone's picking me up on my on my calculations. Earlier I posted that my channel had increased by a certain percentage of subscribers. I'm not very good at maths, okay? So I may have got that wrong. A lot of people are asking me about Brexit. I don't know. Why is everybody asking me about Brexit? What do you want? What do you want? You're just saying Brexit. Just the word Brexit. What does that even mean? Yes, Brexit is a thing. It's happening. What I would say is, in terms of Brexit, I imagine people are asking for my opinion. The British people have spoken. regardless of my opinions on the matter, I think it would be an injustice to not go forward with the democratic will of the people, mainly because it would sort of threaten referenda of the future, okay? Because people are going to think, well, look, what's the point in voting for anything if I'm just going to be ignored, right? And so I think it's a good idea to go through with it. This is one of the things that I don't like about Labour's leadership at the moment is Jeremy Corbyn. He was asked recently about his opinion if he couldn't get a good deal with the EU, would he guarantee Brexit? And he couldn't answer the question. And in their leaked manifesto, it was revealed that they won't do it. They'll rule out a no deal with the EU. So if they can't get a deal, it seems like they're going to go against the democratic will of the people, which isn't such a good idea. But I don't very much like Theresa May either, so we're in a bit of a tricky spot here. But as far as my opinions on who I'm going to vote for and all that sort of stuff, because we do have, for those of you who don't know, we've got a general election coming up, a snap general election that was recently called. It's a tricky one. I really don't know. I couldn't answer the question. My goodness, who are these people giving me money? There's absolutely no need. Although I think the idea is I'm able to see their comments a bit easier. Okay, so I can see just the people who who've paid. This is fantastic. Thank you, Deceit and Dissent. That's very kind of you. Learn Japanese from zero. So obviously a language YouTuber. Thank you for being such a great YouTuber. You have an eloquence in speaking in religion. Thank you very much. Learn Japanese from zero. I do appreciate it. This is fantastic. Now, I don't know how long I'm going to be live for. I guess it depends on the internet connection. But we've got, what is that, 800, 900 people watching. And the comments are just going crazy. This is ridiculous. Okay, what is your ideal afterlife? Somebody asked me. Joseph Stalin. What is my ideal afterlife? I dare say no afterlife, because eternity isn't such an appealing idea for me. I don't like the idea of getting bored and having absolutely no end and no urgency to anything. Although if I had to have an afterlife, it would perhaps be one in which there is still a difference of opinion. I wouldn't want a consensus. I wouldn't want some kind of society where everybody agreed on everything. That wouldn't be any fun. I want there to be debate, discussion. I'd want there to be arguments. I want it to be lively. That's what I'd want to see carry on. You look like Paul McCartney. Well, I'll take that as a compliment, I suppose. Opinions on Buddhism? I haven't really got any beef with them. Do what you got to do. What else have we got? These are actually going too fast for me to read, so this is kind of tricky. You can probably tell I'm quite new to this. I don't know if I told you I've got a cold as well, so if I keep sniffing and coughing, then that's why. How old am I? I'm 18 years of age. Okay. When are you coming to America? Well, when am I coming to America? I was going to somewhat keep this secret, but I suppose it's as good a time as any to announce. This July, I'll be over there. More details to come shortly, which is very exciting, by the way. What have we got here? What's your favourite food? Pizza, obviously. Yes, you were right, Luca. There's a lot of spam. Okay, Rebecca goes to Oxford Brookes Uni. Oh, cool. I've been there quite a few times to revise. We weren't supposed to go in there, but we went and used the library a lot. Nice building. Might see you around sometime. Go to Texas, please, maybe one day. That would be nice. What do you think about veganism? Aha, interesting. Okay, I get asked a lot about veganism, vegetarianism, animal rights, this sort of stuff. Now, this is a tricky one for me, because as far as I'm concerned, veganism is more moral than meat eating. Having said that, I eat meat. It's one of those things that I can see myself giving up at some point. It's a very difficult thing to do, though, for many people. I'm sure many people can attest to. I haven't really seen any good arguments for eating animals other than, well, they kind of taste nice. And that's awful when you think about it. I also think that one day far in the future, like future societies, I've got a pretty strong feeling that they're one day going to look back on today's meat eating and meat industry as we now look back upon things like slavery. they'll think how inhumane it was that people used to eat meat in such a fashion. But no, I'm not a vegan. But perhaps one day. I used to just go by the argument of well, it's natural, you know. People have been doing it for centuries. It's how we evolved, all this sort of stuff. It's something that is, you know, part of human nature, and we used to do when we were you know, uncivilized apes walking about the savannah. And that was sort of my defense. I said, well, that is why we eat meat. But then I realized, well, so is rape. So and we kind of got over that. So I'm not too sure, but I can see myself becoming a vegan at some point in the future if I can summon up the will. That would be nice. What have we got here? Can you do more live streams? Well, fair point, actually. If you guys like live streams, you think this is fun, I think it's kind of fun, let me know. I can certainly do more. This would... Good. What have we got here? This is actually going too fast. I'm really sorry. I'm trying to read them, but I'm trying not to take too long, you see. Has anyone ever responded to your response videos? Right. Actually, let me think. Yes. If you're talking about the original creators, that's happened a few times, but a lot of the time other people respond to my responses to other people's videos as well. That does happen quite a bit. But also, of course, the recent radio show that I was on, the host of that was... Oh, just quickly, I have seen Cowspiracy, whoever said that. I'd recommend it to everyone, actually. That's a really good film in favour of veganism. Not just focusing on sort of, you know, the poor animals, but also the environmental effects of the meat industry. Now, where was I? I've literally forgotten what I was talking about. What was I talking about? No, it's gone. But I think I covered what I was saying. Oh, Stephen, thank you for the $5. I appreciate that. Congrats on 100k. What would you say is the video that really helped you take office? Okay, so may as well tell the story. I used to make all sorts of videos throughout my life. I used to make videos about sport. I used to make entertainment videos, music videos. And one day I just decided to make a response to a Jehovah's Witness cartoon. And that didn't take off, but it became my most viewed video, which is on my channel. Not now, it's not my most viewed now, but it was at the time. And I remember it got to 10,000 views, and that was insane for me. The day it hit 10,000 views, I hit 400 subscribers, and I went out with some friends to celebrate, Gabriel and Matty from Swish. And, okay. I think we are back. Are we back? Okay, we're back. Right, fantastic. Yeah, very sorry about this. One day I'm going to move out and get a better internet connection. Where was I? Yes, the day that I got back and had that 400 subscribers and 10,000 views, that night I'd posted a video, a response to Pastor Greg Locke, which I nearly didn't post because I thought it wasn't my usual topic. I was a bit sort of, I didn't think it was that good. Nearly didn't post it. But I decided to press upload, and it went up. And Hemant Mehta of the Friendly Atheist podcast shared that video. And I didn't know this, but I just saw my subscribers start to sort of slowly creep up, and I got like 100 in about an hour, and that was just ridiculous. I was like, what is going on? I went to bed, and then when I woke up the next morning, that video that I just uploaded had 10,000. And the day before, we'd just been celebrating 10,000 on a video that had been up for ages. And so I knew something funny was going on. I found out what had happened, that he'd shared it, and Hemant Mehta is basically the reason that this channel has experienced any kind of success. It was absolutely mind-blowing when that first happened. But from that gave me about, I'd say that probably gave me about 5,000 subscribers. It was crazy. But then I managed to sort of jump on that and start growing the channel. And I just decided to start making those sorts of videos. I thought, well, if people like this sort of stuff, then I'll do this sort of stuff. I got compared to Christopher Hitchens about 20 times that day, and I just thought, well, this is ridiculous. Lots of love from Morocco. Oh, well, thank you very much. I see my brother among your numbers. Fantastic. Hamilton. Great. Thanks, Jamie. What are your thoughts on the Fry blasphemy thing? My goodness. you guys must have heard about Stephen Fry getting investigated and for blasphemy in Ireland. Luckily, it was dropped. Of course, it was dropped. There's a small part of me that thinks perhaps it was somebody. So it was a bit of a red herring. Maybe it was like an atheist who contacted the authorities just to sort of bring awareness, just to bring awareness of the fact that this law did exist, and so it would come to the public. And people would see how ridiculous it is. There's a possibility that that's the case. More likely that it is just some kind of angry Christian who wasn't very happy with Stephen Fry. But, you know, it's ridiculous. It sort of goes without saying. What have we got here? Thoughts on Bill Nye's new show, Bill Nye Saves the World. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was very good. For numerous reasons. I wouldn't necessarily say it was bad. It just wasn't for me. You know, it was a lot of stuff that I was already familiar with. I found a lot of it quite patronising and condescending. But I mean, it's worth a watch. Some of it's quite good. Some of it was quite good, but I'm not a huge fan. I wouldn't go around recommending it to people. Put it that way. Somebody asked me would I consider doing more of the sort of radio interview type stuff. Well, look, if any of you are out there and happen to be hosts on radio shows, send me an email. I'm more than willing to do that kind of thing. In fact, I plan to expand my platform in as many ways as possible. So obviously continue making videos, but perhaps doing more live streams, radio debates, public speaking, that sort of stuff. That is the plan. That is certainly the plan. What have we got? Gosh, this is really difficult to keep up with. Music taste. Okay, well, if you can't tell by my t-shirt, I'm a fan of the Beatles. 70s classic rock is probably my jam. Led Zeppelin, the Eagles, Pink Floyd, etc. I'm also a fan of sort of old school hip hop. That was a relatively new thing, sort of within the past 2 years maybe. Oh my god, yes, the Beatles. Yes, the Beatles. I went through a bit of a phase, as I think everybody does. My sort of Beatles trivia went through the roof. I think my favourite album of theirs would have been Sgt. Pepper's during that phase, but I think now perhaps Rubber Soul is probably my favourite. This is ridiculous. Thank you all for watching, by the way. This is absolutely great. I don't think there's a number on how many comments there have been, but there's been a lot. This is great. People from all over the world as well. Ethics exam on Monday. Any tips? Well, it depends what syllabus you're doing. I couldn't help you unless you can give me some particular topics within ethics. Then maybe I can help you out. But good luck with it. I've also got an ethics exam coming up in about a month, so we're both in the same boat there. Okay, we got a $10 comment. This is crazy. What are your thoughts on the possibility of multiple universes? Well, look, it's... Oh, Mike, that's your name. Thank you, Mike. It's possible. It is. One of the things I really dislike about the debate when it comes to like fine-tuning and the teleological argument, a lot of people say, well, look, it's a multiverse, obvious. I don't like that way of approaching it. The way I like to approach this instead is to say, look, the multiverse is a possible explanation. As well as, if you're talking fine-tuning, there's also the explanation of some kind of undiscovered fact of nature, which means the constants had to be tuned in this manner. It doesn't necessarily mean that those things had to happen, but because they are alternatives, until you can prove that a god is more plausible than the others, you don't really have a leg to stand on. Because, of course, the majority of atheists are agnostic atheists. They fall within that category. And what that means is that if there are options, one of which is God, one of which is a multiverse, you can be an atheist even if you consider those to be equally likely. Until you can prove that the God is more plausible than the multiverse, you've still got all your work ahead of you. I couldn't really tell you whether I think the multiverse is more plausible. Personally, just on a whim, I naturally would think that it is, but I'm a bit rusty on the scientific evidence for the multiverse, of which there's not much conclusive conclusive evidence, but I'd be interesting to look into that kind of stuff. Could be interesting. That's one of the sort of topics I'd like to get an expert onto the show to talk about. Oh dear. What have we got? About homophobia. Like, look, people ask me this sometimes. Like, what are your thoughts on gay people? What are your thoughts on trans people? What are your thoughts? Okay, usually when that's put to me, what I ask back is I say, what are your thoughts on black people? Really, what are your thoughts on black people? What kind of a question is that? You know, what are your thoughts on women? It makes no sense. It's like you don't generalize in such a manner when you're talking about somebody's personality or characteristic traits. You know, there are some black people who I like. There are some black people who I don't like. There are some gay people who I find annoying. There are some gay people who I enjoy spending time with. Like, you cannot take these personality traits and think that they have anything to do with somebody's sexual orientation or their race or anything like that. It's just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous question when people put it that way. But but at the same time, I think the question here was just about homophobia, particularly. Yeah, it's a shame, but a lot of it is rooted in religion, which is one of the reasons that I talk about it so much. I'm going to be spending 6 hours sitting next to a Christian who has agreed to discuss how viable the Bible is. Any tips, Luca? Well, one of the things, Luca, that people often jump to when they're talking about the Bible, atheists I mean, is the contradictions within the Bible. And this is a really good topic of discussion. What I would say to you is there's two good ways of looking at this. There's two types of contradictions that I like to define. The first is contradictions within the Bible, and the second is contradictions that the Bible has with reality. So, for instance, I'll give you an example of a contradiction that the Bible has with reality, because if you want to find contradictions within the Bible, Google it. There's tons, and you can find really ordered lists. Although some of them are sort of, they are reconcilable, so you've got to be careful with that kind of thing. But for instance, something I'm actually studying for an exam in the book of Luke, the Gospel of Luke, in the birth narrative, the story supposedly takes place in the days of Herod. That's the quote. Of course, Herod is the king who eventually tries to kill Jesus by killing all of the under 2-year-olds of Bethlehem. Now, in the same book, Luke mentions that Quirinius was the governor of Syria, but according to the historical record, Herod died a number of years before Quirinius became the governor of Syria. So, what's that? Oh, sorry, I'm trying to keep on top of these comments. I'm sorry if I seem a bit distracted. But yeah, that's a really good contradiction there. Quirinius governed long after Herod had died, but the book of Luke says that they were simultaneous. So that's a really good point to bring up. And I have seen Christians try to defend this in a whole manner of ways, but there's no real good rebuttal to that. So that's a really good point to bring up if I were you. Have you listened to Harry Styles' new album? No, I haven't. I've listened to his new single, I think, which I thought was alright. I mean, as far as pop music goes, like, yeah, sure. I quite like the way pop music's going at the moment, actually. I think musicians are caring a lot more about the music than they used to. I really like what Bruno Mars is doing right now as well. That's absolutely fantastic. The difference between atheism and anti-theism, someone asked. Now, I got a bit of flack for this in one of my videos because I defined anti-theism in one of my videos as somebody who actively believes there is no God. Now, the thing about a word like anti-theism is everybody has their own opinion on the definition. In that context, I was using that as sort of a filler word to describe the position that I was describing in that video. But in general, when people talk about anti-theism, what they mean is somebody who doesn't believe in a God, and who doesn't believe in a God and thinks that it would be a shame that there was a God. Think Christopher Hitchens, okay? So he didn't believe in a God, but he didn't want there to be a God. Because there are many atheists who do wish that there was a God. And, you know, I can sympathise with that, this idea that people like to think that there's, somebody watching over them, someone taking care of them, some kind of afterlife. But an anti-theist is somebody who doesn't like that idea. I suppose you could believe in God and also be an anti-theist. You might think there is a God, but think that that's cruel and it's an unfortunate reality, but it's very unlikely to be that combination of two things. Are you watching Eurovision tomorrow? No, I'm definitely not watching Eurovision tomorrow. It's one of those traditions of mine to come upstairs into this room and read a book or something while my family insist on having it on the television. I'm sure that will be happening. To be honest, I didn't even know it was on tomorrow, so that answers the question. Favourite coffee shop in Oxford? Cardew's, of course. It's where I work. Not for much longer though. Do you like Trump? Now, let me think. No. I'm gonna go with no on that one. Can you do more videos on Frank Turek? Yeah, I can do. If you send me some things to respond to or whatever, yeah, I enjoy talking about Frank Turek, although I don't think he's a particularly difficult target. So unless it's something a bit different or something I've never seen before, then maybe, we'll see. My goodness. What have we got here? Tuxum Poker News. Oh, a poker channel. Donated $2. Thank you. Do you play poker at all? I do indeed. Poker's great. I very much enjoy it. In fact, it's often the way that I celebrate milestones on YouTube. When I hit 10,000 and 20,000, 50,000, we all had a big game of poker to celebrate. Good fun. I've never been to Holland. No, I haven't, Joshua. Are there objective truths? Well, I want to say no, but then that's subjective. So it's too much of a paradox for this late at night. Which, by the way, I mean, it's 10:15 where I am. I have no idea where it is, what the time is in other times of the world. I tried to put this at a time where people all around the world could watch as best they could. So sort of afternoon in America and evening, nighttime in the UK. That's when I try and upload as well, because I think that's a good sort of balance. The majority of my audience is American, but I do like to cater for the home lads as well. Let me have a look here. Super chat. This is all brand new to me. I really don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Wow, there's a lot of super chats. You guys are ridiculous. Okay, hang on a second. Let me read this. Okay, so Robert, who $20, Robert, you really shouldn't have. How would you approach having a rational discussion about radical Islam where the knee-jerk reaction is to be called a bigot? I'm part of a secular organisation at university with this mindset. Love your channel. Thank you, Robert. Well, this is something that I'm sure anybody who has criticised religion and Islam in particular has come across. You get called a bigot. The way I look at this is if the person who's calling you a bigot is saying, I think you're a bigot and this is why, and they're giving you reasons which you understand why they're thinking that, but you think they're wrong, then I'd sit down, I'd have a conversation, I'd explain to them that, firstly, Islam isn't a race, it's not racist, make the distinction between criticising Islam and criticising Muslims, recognise that there is a genuine bigotry towards Muslims, and that's not what you're doing. However, if you're faced with somebody who's just, anytime you say Islam might not be true, says you're a bigot, you're a racist, and is just shutting you down in such a manner, just walk away. You're not going to get anywhere with them. Mark Twain said that you should never argue with a stupid person because they'll just bring you down to their level and beat you with experience. And this is true of people who don't understand the distinction between criticising Muslims and criticising Islam. So my advice to you would be to just leave it if you're in that kind of a situation, for sure. What is your favourite natural science? Well, Ernest Rutherford, the man who basically discovered the atom, or the formulation of the atom, he once said that all science is either physics or stamp collecting, and I think that pretty much sums it up. What have we got here? I don't know what Harry Potter house I'm in. I'll have to do that on a future live stream. That's that Pottermore thing, isn't it? I like Harry Potter. I've never been a massive fan, but no, I don't know what house I'm in. Sorry. What have we got here? Force Awakens or Rogue One? Rogue One. The only reason being because when I went in to see Rogue One, I knew that it wasn't part of the main sequence. It wasn't like an actual Star Wars film. Whereas The Force Awakens, there was a lot of expectations. I was very disappointed by it. But Rogue One, it wasn't an amazing film, but because I didn't expect too much of it either, that was more okay. Oh, you know what? I've just realised. Let me have a look here. Do you remember this? This is the the plaque that my friends Gabriel and Matty made for me from the YouTube channel Swish. Everybody go and subscribe. 10,000 wooden plaque. This is fantastic, but if you bear with me just a second, let me have a look here. What have we got? Okay, I think. Right, fixed. Fantastic. Okay, great. Oh, don't worry, I'm not going to deface it, but just until my silver one arrives, I think that this will just about do the trick. There we are. That's lovely. Fantastic. Okay, where have we got here? I am asking Alex because I want him to notice me. Consider yourself noticed. What have we got here? Gosh, there's a lot of questions coming in. This is crazy. Fascism or communism? What kind of question's that? You know, what are you talking about? Islam or Christianity? I mean, come on. Which, by the way, interesting thought. A lot of people just have the assumption that Islam is worse than Christianity. I don't think it is. I think they're about the same. It's just that Islam currently is manifesting itself worse than Christianity. But in terms of the actual texts themselves and the ideologies upon which they're based, they're the same. What have we got here? Who influences you most? Good question. I would say my influences, well, originally, my main influences were just the Four Horsemen. Massively Christopher Hitchens. Not necessarily in everything he said. He said a lot of things that I actually disagree with, even on the atheism. A few ways of arguing, I felt like he didn't quite hit the mark as well as he could have done, but you feel like he did because he put it forward so well. But we have to remember that we need to criticize the people who we admire. Okay, we shouldn't commit idolatry. Hitchens actually hated idolatry anyway. You might absolutely love him to bits, as do I, but if he makes a bad argument, he's made a bad argument. But recently I've been very inspired by people such as... Where's she gone? Now here is a hero, if I ever saw one. Ayaan Hirsi Ali. When she's arguing for like atheism or philosophy, I don't find her that convincing. However, her story is incredible. And if you haven't read this book, Infidel, it's basically her autobiography. This is just, it's funny, it's touching, it's scary, it's everything. Fantastic book to read. I'm sort of surrounded by books right now, so if you guys want some recommendations, just let me know. Let's see here, what have we got? Show us more books, somebody is saying. Well, I've got quite a few. Let me think now. Let me give you some quick book recommendations. What I'm going to say here, actually, here's a good book. I'm going to have to move some stuff, you have to bear with me. I recently met Lloyd Evans at an event. He's an ex-Jehovah's Witness, he's a YouTuber, fantastic guy, he does a lot of good work for a lot of good people. This book is a big book, but even if you just want to skim through it or just look at certain parts, it's very well indexed, very well categorized. The Jehovah's Witness cult is awful. Okay, I had no idea just how bad it was until I went to this event. If you don't know anything about Jehovah's Witnesses, if all you know is, oh yeah, they don't vote and they don't do blood transfusions and they knock on people's doors, you don't know the half of it. I'm telling you, I was completely ignorant on this. It's just crazy. Look into it. I may make a video on it soon, or I might actually ask Lloyd to come on the channel if possible, because he's so knowledgeable and he's really well spoken and everything. But here's a really good book to dig your teeth into. Let me see, have I got anything else I can recommend here? I'm not sure. Maybe I'll do another book recommendation video soon. Did you watch BBC's Sherlock? Yes, it's one of my favourite TV shows of all time, up with Breaking Bad and Cosmos. fantastic shows. But yeah, Sherlock, great show. Oh, what have we got here? My goodness, this is crazy. So we've got over 1,000 people watching currently, which is crazy when you think about it. I mean, all at once, live watching. This is insane. I've got to tell you, if you'd this time last year, if you'd have said to me, "Hey Alex, this time next year you're going to have 100,000 subscribers and you're going to have contact with lots of people who I can't quite tell you about yet," but I would have slapped you in the face for getting my hopes up. This is crazy. People I used to look up to and watch and admire. I remember when I used to sit for ages, I used to watch The Atheist Experience and watch Matt Dillahunty just rip into callers. And then recently he's messaged me on Twitter and we've been corresponding and having conversations about collaborations and things. I mean, it's just crazy. I honestly cannot thank you guys enough. Really, it just means so much. Holy Kool-Aid! Hey man, how you doing? Thomas Westbrook. If you guys aren't subscribed to Holy Kool-Aid, you're doing it wrong. Go and do it now. I've just noticed him in the comments. Fantastic YouTuber. We've done a collaboration. I did a video about the origins of morality. One of my favourite videos I've ever done, actually. And it's on his channel. So go and watch that and go and subscribe over there, because it's just absolutely fantastic. I used to watch Doctor Who. Not anymore. Wow, these are coming in fast. I'm going to have to slow these down. Gosh, a lot of people are asking me about like music and TV shows. This is really bizarre. I thought people would be asking me really existential questions. Oh hey Leanne, how are you doing? Leanne is one of my most engaged followers. Been with me basically from the start. Okay, we're back. This is crazy. This is just ridiculous. I do apologise. I think we're back anyway. My laptop's a bit delayed, so let me see here. Are we back? Are we back? I think we're back. Right, fantastic. Oh, this is crazy. Yeah, sorry about my internet connection, everybody. It's still quite bad. It's just going to cut out every so often, I think. Questions. Some people are asking questions that I've already answered in this live stream. I don't actually know how this works. I've never done it before, but hopefully I can make this video available in full after the live stream's over. So you'll be able to go back and watch that. Do you drink alcohol? I try and steer clear of it mostly. I don't think it's very good for the brain, Stop using a potato as a router. Yeah, I'm going to think about upgrading. You should see how long it takes me to upload a video. It's crazy. This is half the time where they come up at like 1 a.m. Should I pursue a job in astronomy? The walkthrough channel. I don't know. I'm not going to give you life advice, but I would say astronomy is a fantastic field of study, if you want my opinion. And if you have the opportunity to go into a career in astronomy, then yes, do it. It'd be absolutely fantastic. And if you become a professional, send me an email and I can get you on the channel to talk about it. Blow your nose. Yeah, it's been about like a week of just constant blowing in my nose because I've got a pretty bad cold. But it's on its way out, so this is good. My goodness. How do your family react to you being an atheist? Pretty well. I mean, my family now are mostly irreligious. I wouldn't say atheist. None of my immediate family at least would subscribe to a monotheistic Abrahamic religion. For instance, my mother probably would call herself an agnostic, I would imagine. My father's been an atheist ever since his father died when he was like 9. And my brother, I'm not really too sure, but he's certainly not Abrahamic. So it's been fine. Even people I know who are religious have pretty much taken it okay. And to be honest, if I knew somebody who wasn't okay with my views or what I do, then they wouldn't be my friend anyway. So I don't really run into those sorts of problems. Snapchat name, Cosmic Skeptic. Everybody go and add me. Just the word, one word, Cosmic Skeptic, with a K, Cosmic Skeptic. I try and snap as much as I can. It's really good fun. And I try and answer snaps as well. Just on a semi-regular basis, I'll go through and open some snaps and we can have some cool conversations. Who did you vote for in primaries? I didn't actually vote. Partly because I was just absolutely disgusted with the American political system, and partly because I'm not actually American, as you may be able to tell by my accent. What have we got here? There is a lot of comments. I wish there was a way to like slow these things down. Yes, I do answer snaps. Thank you very much. I just don't answer all of them. I must admit I'm quite bad, especially now with the exams. It's pretty tricky, but I get round to them sometimes. Aquinas' 5 ways. Okay, so Thomas Aquinas, 13th century Augustinian monk, who was he? Yes, he was. Who came up with 5 famous ways of proving God. The first 3 of which are basically the same thing. It's your classical cosmological and teleological arguments. The thing about his arguments is they don't prove the Christian God. They just prove some kind of first mover, and they don't even do that very well. One thing I'll say about the cosmological arguments, it's all based upon like cause and effect. So some things are contingent, there must be a non-contingent first mover. Some things are in motion, there must be a unmoved mover. Some things are caused, there must be a first cause. The thing I'd say about this is think about the fact that cause, it's a fact of nature that cause has to come before effect. Okay, effects have to follow causes. Something's cause cannot come after its effect. But the very word after and before implies time. Now, outside of the universe, there's no time, so there's nothing to say that causes must come before effects. Maybe that concept just doesn't make any sense. So the idea of causality, the idea of causation, there must be